All right, thank you, Michelle. We talk about this rivalry. The home team has won 9 of the last 10 meetings, and that doesn't include last year's playoff game when Seattle won at home. In the Bay Area, you look at those numbers, 22-13 in favor of the 49ers, but flip it around when you go up north. The Seahawks outscoring the Niners by an average of 29-12. The team with the fewer turnovers is undefeated, and that's what Pete Carroll, of course, was talking about, as do most coaches, in terms of protecting the ball. 49ers with Jim Harbaugh in his 4th season, and he had tremendous success in college at the University of San Diego. That led to a stint at Stanford and then to the 49ers. The Seahawks won the toss and have deferred, and Stephen Hauschka will kick off. Opponent's average start the 22-yard line, so he's been doing his job, and that's Carlos Hyde back to receive. He's a rookie running back, and he's the guy who backs up Frank Gore. You'll see a lot of action out of the backfield tonight. Colin Kaepernick will get the ball right away. And one of the great rivalries in the league, 2 teams that will meet not only tonight, but 2 weeks from Sunday in Seattle. And here we go. A couple of yards deep. Carlos Hyde. And he is met and crunched at the 12-yard line. Jerron Johnson. Let's take a look at the San Francisco starters.
Colin Kaepernick, Nevada.
Frank Gore, the U.
Bruce Miller, Central Florida.
Anquan Bolden, Florida State University.
Michael Crabtree, Texas Tech.
Vernon Davis, University of Maryland.
Joe Staley, Central Michigan University.
Mike Ipati, Idaho.
Marcus Martin, Southern Cal.
Alex Boone, The Ohio State University.
Jonathan Martin, Stanford.
And they'll open up with 2 tight ends. They activated Garrett Selleck, the brother of the Eagles' Brent, who played earlier today in Philly's win over Dallas. So he starts at 1 tight end spot. And through the middle goes Frank Gore, the workhorse for so many years, taking it out to the 20-yard line. Colin Kaepernick against the Seahawks, making his 4th start, 1-2, and that doesn't include the loss last year when he didn't play well in the 4th quarter in particular. 2 TDs and 5 picks. So he's had his struggles against a Seattle defense, which is, despite their troubles this year, they're not playing as well as they did last year, still the number 1 defense in the NFL. 2nd and 3.
Ricky. Hurry.
4-man rush. Kaepernick fires over the middle, and that will be a first down. Michael Crabtree is there to make the catch. Gain of 4 and a first down, and now Crabtree is shaken up. So right off the bat, they're one of their top receivers. He and Bolden are the key guys, and we'll look at it again.
There's Crabtree right there, and one of the things that they knew was that they had to work the middle of the field more than what they did last time. But that time, the big hit was that Cam Chancellor, I think, coming over the top and just sort of squished his own body over the top of himself.
So right off the bat, they have to work on Crabtree. Brett. Night football on Thanksgiving night, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. By Walmart. Make Walmart your only place to shop for Black Friday. By Toyota, let's go places. And by Jurassic World. On June 12th, the park is open. Well, that turkey will be munched upon by the player or players of the game. Coach Madden looking on from across the bay at home in the East Bay, and he's going to select it tonight. Now, Crabtree went to the sideline. We'll check on him in a moment. The pass is thrown a little high and a little behind Frank Gore. And let's take a look at the Seattle starters.
Michael Bennett, Ailey Taylor High School.
Tony McDaniel, Tennessee.
Kevin Williams, Oklahoma State.
Cliff Averill, Boilermaker.
Bruce Irvin, Almost Heaven, West Virginia U.
Bobby Wagner, D. Utah State.
KJ Wright, Mississippi State.
Richard Sherman, Stanford.
Cam Chancellor, Virginia Tech.
Earl Thomas, BBU, Texas.
Byron Maxwell, CC Blaney.
Great corners. Of course, you've got Thomas, a terrific safety. You got Wagner back after missing 5 last week. He came back. And a run out to the 29-yard line. Frank Gore following an Alex Boone block.
You're going to see this a lot. Staley down. You'll see Boone coming out around. They like to create these angles for their guys, and Joe Staley just took his guy right to the turf. That is what this game is going to be about. Two power-running offenses. It's not going to be a lot of glitz and glamour. This is just a fist fight out here tonight.
3rd and 6. Play clock is down to 2. And they snap it at 1. And Kaepernick's going to go deep and incomplete. 2 guys in the same area. Coverage was good, intended for Brandon Lloyd. Vernon Davis was there as well. 49ers to punt.
On the outside, you're going to see a big matchup right here. Jonathan Martin in for Anthony Davis again at tackle. That is going to be a tough matchup. And then inside, you get Richard Sherman. They went right after him. If he's inside, they're going to try and attack Richard Sherman.
Andy Lee, this is Walters who slips. And Brian Walters brings it to the 26-yard line. Let's take a look at the Seattle offense.
Russell Wilson from a whole pack of Badgers.
Marshawn Lynch, Oakland Ice City, California.
Doug Baldwin, Stanford.
Jermaine Kearse, Washington.
Luke Wilson, Villanova High School.
Tony Moyaki, University of Iowa.
Russell Okung, Oklahoma State. James Carpenter, Alabama.
Lemuel Jean-Pierre, South Carolina.
J.R. Sweezy, NC State. Justin Britt, LHS, MIZ.
Jean-Pierre, we're still referring to him at the open, getting the start at center, been around for a while. And they stack receivers both left and right to the Seahawks on their first play from scrimmage. And they'll keep it on the ground. Then it's beast mode. It's Marshawn Lynch to the 29-yard line. So Russell Wilson started his college career at North Carolina State, then went to Wisconsin and played a year there, and it was a great season. Led him to a big Rose Bowl win against the 49ers, his 5th start. 2-2. 2 wins at home, 2 losses in the Bay Area. 2nd and 7. Once again, and that time they put a fullback in there. We have our first flag. Tony Correnti gets the assignment on Thanksgiving night. Hear from him in a second.
Personal foul, clipping, offense, number 68. 10-yard penalty, remains 2nd down.
That's the rookie right tackle out of Missouri, Justin Britt.
Kind of game it's going to be right here. You fall on the back of the legs, you roll over. That is clipping. And one of the things that Seattle does so well on the backside, they're able to get people on the ground, allows Marshawn Lynch to create those cutback lanes. But now this turns into a different dynamic. Backed up 15 yards and their San Francisco crowd going crazy. How aggressive do you want to be now?
Ball back now at the 14-yard line, and it's going to be 2nd down and 22. And Wilson dumps it down underneath to the 20-yard line goes Luke Wilson. And let's take a look at the 49er defense.
Ray McDonald, the University of Florida.
Quentin Dow, Alabama.
Justin Smith, Missouri.
Ahmad Brooks, UVA.
Michael Wilhoit, Highland Park High School, Topeka, Kansas.
Chris Borland, Wisconsin.
Alden Smith, the University of Missouri.
Paris Cox, Oklahoma State.
Antoine Bethea, the Mecca, the real HU, Howard University.
Eric Reed, Louisiana State University. Chris Culliver, South Carolina.
We met Wilhoit and Borland. We'll talk about those guys in a bit. They've done great work in the middle. Meanwhile, here is Lynch. And Lynch with a nice run out to the 31, but they needed 16. He gets about 13. That's Borland in on the tackle, and Seattle brings in the punting unit.
Well, 2 backup linebackers in the game, essentially for the San Francisco 49ers. 2 of the best that there is. Patrick Willis, Navarro Bowman out. And so it is going to be on those 2 players to fill in and handle arguably the best running back in all of football, Marshawn Lynch.
John Ryan is the Seattle punter. Parrish Cox back to receive. Fields at the 28. Returns to the 32. Lockett makes the tackle. Each team has had it once. 49ers get it when we come back. Do not miss a moment of Sunday Night Football this season. NBC Sports Live Extra. Take the game with you anywhere, online and on tablet. Ooh, the good old Golden Gate Bridge. Only about 48 miles away.
Still beautiful.
Still gorgeous. Here we are in Santa Clara. Opening year for this stadium. The ball is at the 31-yard line. And Kaepernick. Play fake. Going deep and incomplete. Reaching up for it was Brandon Lloyd. Coverage was good. Byron Maxwell the coverage. Here's Michelle.
Well, Michael Crabtree is just now running back onto the field. He's officially listed as questionable with a rib injury. He spent some time talking to doctors, athletic trainers, but he's out there once again, Al. There he is, and we saw him get shaken up. He was standing on the sideline. He wanted to come in on first down, and they held him out. He was standing right by the down marker. And there he is. He's the number 2 receiver. Only Anquan Bolden has caught more. Passing game mainly to wide receivers. They very infrequently throw to the running backs. And this is Frank Gore up to the 37-yard line. He just keeps on doing it. You've got 2 of the very toughest runners in the National Football League tonight. Lynch on one side, this guy on the other. He keeps on ticking. 10th year in the league, and just about every 49er rushing record is his.
Yeah, I think you said it right. 2 of the absolute toughest, and defensive players hate playing against this guy. He is low to the ground. He surprises you. He gets lost in the backfield, and he has just an ability to stretch out for another 3 or 4 yards after he's hit.
3rd and 5. Play clock at 2. Kaepernick under pressure, and he gets swallowed up. Cliff Averill comes in to knock him down, get the sack back at the 28-yard line. So it'll be 4th and long, and their second punt forthcoming.
Well, Jonathan Martin is going to have his hands full. Cliff Averill runs the edge of this about as well as anybody. And when he's able to take Jonathan Martin, whose big weakness is his strength, that's the problem he always has had. And Cliff Averill, I thought, should have been the Super Bowl MVP. I thought he was the best player on the field that night, and he is going to be a nightmare tonight for Jonathan Martin.
Wound up going to the linebacker, Malcolm Smith. Now Lee's second kick, his first one was good for 52 yards. And this is Walters, who doesn't go anywhere. He gets tackled to the 21. It's a 53-yard boot. So Wilson and company back to work.
What I'm most thankful for this Thanksgiving, for sure, my parents. My dad's no longer here, but the influence that he had on me, my mom, all the things she has told me and taught me, she still teaches me today.
I'm thankful that my family's there, support me, always there when I need them, and always have been.
Thanks to the families. Wilson grew up in Virginia. Kaepernick born in Wisconsin, and the family moving to Northern California to the town of Turlock. About an hour and a half drive from here, and that's where he grew up. From the 21-yard line, Seattle with the ball for the second time. Wilson in the pocket, fires it over the middle, taken by Doug Baldwin out to the 25-yard line. Tackled there by Borland. These 2 quarterbacks meeting 3 times in regular season games, once in postseason. Tell the tape. You go outside the pocket. They each rank 1st and 2nd. And in terms of running the ball, Wilson the most, Kaepernick the 2nd most. Kind of mirror images like the rest of their teams. Lynch to the 29. What's the big difference would be, Kaepernick's got a cannon for a gun, and Wilson's still a pretty accurate passer, but not with that kind of velocity.
Both strong-arm guys, but the ability, I think Kaepernick at times runs and is explosive running the football, and Russell Wilson, to me, is more of a run to scramble to buy time to throw the ball down the field kind of a guy. But both of them with this read option tonight will be a major factor running the football.
First quarter at the halfway mark, no score. 3rd and 2. Fake And then the pass to the outside, and it's going to be ruled a catch by Tony. Now the second official comes in and says no. Tony Oyaki, who came over from Buffalo, was signed recently. They made the right call.
Well, do you believe me now? This is going to be a defensive battle. And I know you're used in the NFL to seeing these high-scoring games and all. Just treasure what you're seeing. This is the number 1, the number 2 defense, fist fight mentality. It's going to be like this all night long. It'll be great.
Ryan's second punt, and it bounces at the 31-yard line. Paris Cox moved away from it. Rolls out at the 29 with 7:04 to go in the opening quarter. Well, later tonight, Jimmy Fallon doesn't get the night off either. He'll be working on the Tonight Show, special Thanksgiving thank you notes later tonight right here on NBC.
This ain't working.
From the 28-yard line, Carlos Hyde is now the running back. He's been seeing more and more action as the season progresses, and that is the rookie from Ohio State, picked in the second round for a short gain. That Seattle defense now number 1 again in the NFL, struggling a little bit early on, but they're very happy to have that man back. Bobby Wagner, picked in the second round in 2012. In the third round, they picked Russell Wilson. Talk about a couple of gems.
Yeah, he's a signal caller. It's allowed KJ Wright, who was playing inside, to move back to his natural position over the tight end. And Cam Chancellor is the hammer in the secondary. We've seen some unbelievable collisions between he and Vernon Davis in the past.
2nd and 7. And right through the middle and stood up and met at the line of scrimmage by DeMarcus Dobbs. Carlos Hyde swallowed up by him. That's a 49er. It'll be 3rd down and 8.
Watch this one. DeMarcus Dobbs comes right off the ball against Joe Staley, their best offensive lineman for the 49ers. And just what a collision in the backfield with Carlos Hyde. It is going to be a battle that is just going to be one to be remembered tonight. These two defenses take such pride in being the best, being the most dominant. And so far they're proving it.
4 wide on 3rd and 8. Play clock at 2. Only a 3-man rush. And then it's intercepted at the 50-yard line by Richard Sherman. And he gets taken down to the 44-yard line. Richard Sherman. And everybody in this area knows him, and he wants to hear it from the crowd. Of course, he and Crabtree had it out at the end of the championship game last year. Or at least Sherman had it out.
Watch Sherman the way that he does this. You do not want to throw to his side when he is playing that run-out position. He keeps his eye on the quarterback and basically just feels where the receiver is. He saw the ball coming that time before Brandon Lloyd did. Do not mess with that guy when he's in that technique. When he's inside, take your shot. Outside, go the other way.
Most in the first 4 seasons, 22 career picks. Of course, he played up the road at Stanford for that man when Harbaugh was there. So a short field for the Seattle Seahawks, and it's a 2-yard gain, and then gang tackle. Lynch, as he got past the line of scrimmage, Aldon Smith leading the charge.
Aldon Smith right here has to be one of the great bench pressers of all time. That's Russell Okung, who is a star tackle for the Seattle Seahawks. When he gets his hands inside Aldon Smith and extends those arms, people just go straight backwards. These are guys that weigh 320 pounds. The return of Aldon Smith has made this defense entirely different and better.
Suspended for the first 9 games of the season, and the pass is thrown out of bounds, intended for Curse. And let's go to Michelle.
Well, defensive tackle Ray McDonald went to the locker room. He is officially questionable with a finger injury. We saw doctors examining his left hand, and that is why Tony Jared Eddy is in there for the 49ers right now, Al.
All right, thank you, Michelle. That could be a big loss. McDonald playing very well up front. Already minus Glenn Dorsey, their nose tackle. We've got Quentin Dial in that spot tonight. And it's 3rd down and 7 for the Seahawks.
Yeah. McDonald a sack in each of the last 2 games.
Niners almost jumped, but no flag. In the pass, there's a flag. As the play developed, Moyaki makes the catch. Parrish Cox with the tackle. The ball would be spotted at the 39, but we'll get the call from Correnti.
Holding, defense number 36. 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
That's the rookie corner Dante Johnson out of North Carolina State, automatic first.
Now they are going to be, both sides of the ball are really physical so far. You saw Dante Johnson grab the back of the helmet of Doug Baldwin there, their top receiver. It hasn't just been that way. The Seattle Seahawks on the other side of the ball have been very physical as well. A lot of people think the rule changes came about because the Seahawks were so physical playing in the secondary a year ago.
Seattle's first down. San Francisco only has 1. We've played 10.5 minutes. And then the pass to the outside, and that won't go anywhere as Curse gets bombed by Chris Culliver.
This is going to be fun tonight. Chris Culliver in man coverage comes all the way across the field, and before Jermaine Curse could get out of his route, he takes one right in the side, and we have already seen in less than a quarter of play about 3 or 4 major shots in this one.
Think we might have a few more?
Oh yeah.
2nd and 10. Lynch. And he'll be dragged down by Ahmad Brooks at the 34-yard line.
You know, Ahmad Brooks went through a difficult situation. He was not playing as much as he wanted to. Aaron Lynch was getting some opportunities. He left the field early. And we've seen guys get kicked off teams for doing that. Came back to the 49ers, basically humbly apologized to Vic Fangio and Jim Harbaugh. Said, I just blew it. I apologize, went back to work. And it's just the status quo. Went right back into the lineup, and they're happy to have him for this game.
2-time Pro Bowler, went last year. 3rd and 7. And Wilson guns it over the middle. And that's a first down and a lot more as Baldwin takes the ball all the way to the 11-yard line. Doug Baldwin, who played at Stanford, so Harbaugh knows all about him as well. It's a gain of 24 yards.
Justin Smith just missed here, going against Russell Okung. We talked to Russell last night about playing against Justin Smith. He said it doesn't matter if the play's away or not. He wants to make you pay for every snap you have against him. But Doug Baldwin, as he has so many times before, and he did in that championship game a year ago, coming up big against San Francisco.
First down and goal. 2.5 to go in the opening quarter. Scoreless opening quarter. And then Lynch cannot get out of the backfield. And that's Chris Borland, who has really come out of nowhere, a rookie. And we started to talk about the 49ers. Navarro Bowman got hurt last year, that grotesque injury in the championship game, gone for the year. And then Patrick Willis got hurt halfway through the season. And Borland has been terrific.
Chris Borland, too small, too slow, his arm's too short. He's been told his entire life he can't play this game at this level. And all he does is just continue to make plays. He's been the leading tackler every game he started for the last 5.
And there is Bowman. Borland also had a couple of picks of Eli Manning when Eli threw 5 2 weeks ago. They split Lynch to the right. The pass goes to the left. It's taken by Robert Turbin. And Turbin takes it into the end zone. So the backup to Lynch, with Lynch split to the right, comes out of the backfield, takes the swing pass, and Richard Sherman sets him up with the interception, and Seattle takes the lead.
Completely blown coverage here. You're going to get Turbin going out of the backfield, and nobody. I just have to assume that Chris Culliver never saw him coming out of the backfield. Maybe it was his own defense, but there was no chance anybody could get out there to make the play. As great as this defense is, boy, you hate to give one away, and the 49ers just did.
Turbin very, very close. You can still see a little green there, green there. They review it, but this one should stand, and if it does, which it should, it will be his 2nd touchdown of the season, both coming on passes.
We've been throwing to the backs a lot. Marshawn Lynch has 3 touchdowns as well, career high.
Extra point is good by Hauschka. Minute and a half to go in the quarter. All set up by Richard Sherman's interception. 7-0 Seahawks.
One item at Thanksgiving that I look most forward to eating is probably a stuffing.
My grandmother's mac and cheese. That is the best. Nobody can beat it.
A side of spaghetti because that's my favorite food.
I'd say my favorite dish is fufu and soup.
Well, I grew up in a Filipino household, so it has to be the lumpia.
Yams. Sweet potato yams.
Gotta love the way he says it. Makes me want to eat them.
Oh, isn't that the way everybody looks at Thanksgiving, though? There's something that you just go, oh, I just can't wait.
Kickoff will be down in the end zone. You know, let's talk about the playoff picture here. NFC West, you've got Arizona at 9-2. They have a 2-game lead. So the loser of this game really has a major uphill struggle. Arizona will meet both of these teams in the last 2 weeks of the season.
And the schedules of these two teams, there's no guarantee that either of them even make it into the playoffs. So this game is really significant. Match it with the one they have in a couple of weeks. We're going to see some good football.
Yeah, Arizona has Atlanta this week, in Georgia on Sunday. These two teams will meet again in Seattle 2 weeks from Sunday. Niners start this drive with Gore as the running back. To the ground. Picked up a 2, second down and 8.
One thing about the Seattle Seahawks, they have the ability with how they play to stop your run. They will put 8 guys up there and dare your receivers to beat their cornerbacks in one-on-one situations. Then Earl Thomas, one of the best safeties in all the game, number 29, sits back in the middle of the field and he roams from sideline to sideline, just flies around the field. But if you can't run, your receivers have to win, and so far they're not winning.
Davis split wide left over the middle. Kaepernick's pass is caught. Short gain there. Anquan Bolden, who's having another great year. I mean, this is a guy, you talk about receivers, are they Hall of Fame worthy or not? You look at a guy like this, his numbers are fantastic, but he's just been doing it with Arizona, with Baltimore, 12th year in the league, and playing as well as ever.
Plays like he's playing defense out there. Here's a guy that last week, game-winning drive. Ryan Clark is an illegal hit, got flagged on the play, and not only did Bolden take the hit, he kept on running, and it was Ryan Clark who went down. One of the toughest guys to ever play receiver.
3rd and 4. And Kaepernick throws, and in between two Seahawks, he's able to jam it in there to Stevie Johnson. And so a first down. 49ers will have it at the 32, and we start the second quarter. End of 1. Seattle 7, San Francisco nothing. Sunday Night Football on Thanksgiving night returns after these messages. And we're back. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, and Michelle DeFoya, our gang down in the truck. Fred Godelli, Drew Escott, and all the great technical people who've been doing a heck of a job. 3 games in 8 days. We start the second quarter. Levi Stadium, Santa Clara. First down for the 49ers at their own 33, with Seattle leading 7-0. And Gore, big hole, flagged down at the line of scrimmage.
Holding, offense number 74, 10-yard penalty, repeat, first down.
Well, when the umpire throws it, that's normally the call. Offensive holding, this time on Staley.
It looked like a great block, but Staley, I think, gets that left arm extended around the defender there, and it just looked like a tackle to the officials taking him down. But now you're backed up again. And the one thing that Greg Roman, the offensive coordinator, had to say to Colin Kaepernick this week was, don't be a gunslinger. Our success when we played them in the championship game came over the middle. Our mistakes to the outside. So far tonight, success over the middle, mistake to the outside.
Sherman's pick, and it's first down and 20 now after the penalty. And then Incomplete because it's broken up by Cam Chancellor over the middle. Good tight coverage. 2nd and 20.
In so many ways, Cam Chancellor is kind of the heart and soul of this team. He's the one that gave the speech before the Arizona game last week. He had not done it. He doesn't particularly like to do it, but he was asked by Michael Bennett to step up and speak to the team. He went around to each guy individually and basically screamed whatever he wanted to say to that person in their face. They came out and played their best defensive game of the year against Arizona.
2nd and 20. That's Frank Gore, the top of the screen, flanked out. Got 5 wide here. And that's deflected at the line of scrimmage. We'll make it 3rd down and 20, and the crowd's getting a little restless. Might have been Jordan Hill in there getting a hand up.
Where they are going short and quick with these throws. They're trying to stay away, obviously, from these great pass rushers that you have for Seattle. I mean, and they have good ones. Michael Bennett, as good as there is. Bruce Irvin, Cliff Averill. Those guys can really come get your quarterback. Jordan Hill is good. We even saw Bobby Wagner, the linebacker, with some good pass rush moves last week.
3rd and 20. Well, they'll keep it on the ground, and that's going to be 4th and 19 and a half. Bruce Irvin is there. And that's a sound that you haven't heard too much in the past few years, either at Candlestick or at Levi's.
Right here, Bobby Wagner is going to come up and get the first shot. They try and run these trap plays against Seattle because of the fact that Seattle gets up the field so fast. They have had success with the traps before, but not there.
Andy Lee, who's at a 52-yarder and a 53-yarder, sends this one to the 29. Walters will get tackled after a run back of 6 yards out to the 35-yard line. 47-yard boot.
This Thanksgiving, I'm most thankful for my family. I think it's the same each year, but it gets extra special as you grow older. You understand the importance of it, and I came from a great family, and don't get to spend a lot of time with them, so thankful for them.
There he is, Chris Borland, the rookie. Russell Wilson spent that 1 year at Wisconsin, 2011. So those two guys were teammates in Madison. And we talked to Borland the other day about Wilson. He said he just knew it. The guy walked in, he said within, a week, he had it all.
He said he came in a sports coat and cufflinks. We're all in our hoodie. We didn't know what to do with this guy. They elected him captain. It worked out all right.
From the 35-yard line. Here is Lynch. Meanwhile, Borland from Ohio, Kettering, Ohio, outside of Dayton. Look at him tonight so far.
Well, Chris Borland's been doing this every night that he's been playing. It will be his 6th straight start, and he's been the leading tackler in each. He just gets himself in a great position to make the tackles. And when he sees it develop in the backfield, he's willing to shoot, go through the gap, and Marshawn Lynch has to be one of the toughest guys there is to tackle. And so far tonight, Borland's had the better of the matchups.
2nd and 9. 49ers showing blitz, and here they come, and Wilson will roll it out to buy time, and then just a little too deep, intended for the tight end Luke Wilson. It'll be 3rd down and 9.
One of the great things about playing with Aldon Smith is that when he's outside of you, they block him and they let you go. Chris Borland was able to get through and put some pressure on his old buddy Russell Wilson. Parrish Cox almost let that one get behind him. Yeah, he knew it.
Robert Turbin now in the game at running back. He scored the only touchdown tonight. Wilson is 5 of his first 8. Chased again, avoids a sack. Now from behind, they can't get him. Throws on the run, caught by Moriarty, the tight end, and then he is able to race down the sideline and take the ball all the way to the 1-yard line. How did that happen?
I'll tell you how that happened. Russell Wilson's one of the great players in the game. Watch this. He is dead to rights here. They're going to hit him with a blitz out of the backfield. Dante Johnson, he makes him miss not once but twice here. and then Borland, and there is nobody left. Defenses, especially zone defenses, break down when the quarterback can scramble around like that, and that was close to a touchdown.
Timeout taken by the 49ers. They have to take a timeout to regroup here because it was 63 yards on a 3rd and 9. And take a look here. Did he get in? He may have gotten in.
Let's check the knees, the elbows, all the stuff.
Right there.
Right there.
Where's the ball at that point is the question.
Man, it's close to that line.
So that's not a scoring play because if it was, they'd review it automatically. What Carroll would have to do if he wanted this called a touchdown right now is challenge it, try to win the challenge. Otherwise, if he doesn't challenge, it's going to be 1st and goal from the 1.
This is what Russell Wilson does so well. He does not scramble to run. He scrambles to throw. And the 49ers defense, any defense, can't cover for 7 seconds. That's just not possible to do. Boy, what a nice pickup Tony Moyaki has been for this football team. They lost their star, Zach Miller. And he has come back a touchdown a couple weeks ago in Kansas City and almost are there.
He's with the Bills, and then he was gone. Before that, the Chiefs. So the ball is spotted at the half-yard line. And from that point, well, they're going to be able to stop, at least initially, Marshawn Lynch as the helmet goes flying off the head of Justin Smith in his 14th season.
Nice play by Ray McDonald, who's back in the game now. Right here is just going to jump inside of this block and meet Marshawn Lynch. There aren't many guys can stop Marshawn Lynch in his tracks like that, but Ray McDonald just did.
Half-yard loss, ball at the 1. Tukalapa is the fullback. Lynch the running back. Fake it to Lynch. Wilson flushed out. And he's going to get tripped up. That's a great tackle by Ahmad Brooks. So 49er helmets are flying off. Smith first, now Brooks. And that's another loss. So it goes down to 3rd and goal now.
Well, that decision not to challenge is starting to get a little bit bigger now. I don't know if they would have won it or not, but what a play by Brooks to run down Russell Wilson and his speed. And now, if this 49ers defense can make one more play, maybe the momentum shifts to their side.
Big, big, big in a game with 2 defenses like this. You don't have to climb a 14-point mountain. Trying to keep it to 10. 3rd and goal. And Wilson will dump it, and it's deflected and incomplete. Ahmad Brooks. So great work by the 49ers after they took the timeout. And Pete Carroll watching his team now having to settle for a field goal.
What a great defensive stand. Ahmad Brooks right here is just going to try and extend the play, handle Marshawn Lynch, and good enough to get his hand back on it. And actually, Seattle's lucky this ball's not intercepted. You don't see many float in the air like that and not get picked off. What a defensive stand.
21-yard field goal, Hauschka out of John Ryan's hold. But the 49ers just saved themselves 4 points. 10-0 Seattle. Next Thursday, big TV event. Christopher Walken is Captain Hook, and Allison Williams is the boy who never grew up. Peter Pan live next Thursday, right here on NBC. So look at the Bay Bridge connecting San Francisco to Oakland. Hauschka to kick off with Seattle leading 10-0. Well, Jim Harbaugh, he actually went to Palo Alto High School, lived here for a while. His dad, a coach. Born back east, went to the University of Michigan, played for the Ann Arbor Junior Packers. And then he told us a couple of weeks ago, he said, you know what? I wanted to grow up and play football and then coach football and then die.
That's a strong incentive not to quit coaching.
I would say.
He is something. You see him on the field before the game, you think he's getting ready to play. He just loves it. He loves everything about the game.
He's one of a kind. From the 20-yard line is Kaepernick. And is able to escape, get it off, has a first down. Caught by Carlos Hyde, gain of 16 to the 36. Sherman tries to take it away at the end. It's a gain of 16 yards.
There you go. Kaepernick with his own Russell Wilson play. Gets up through the pocket, scrambles, but doesn't take off the run. Gets his eyes down the field. Ends up with a big pass play. He needed that one. This has been an offense that was struggling a little bit. And you naturally want to run the football if you're Greg Roman, the offensive coordinator. You want to be able to pound it in there. But Seattle's so tough, and they bring so many guys around the line of scrimmage. You have to prove your worth throwing the ball against this defense.
Kaepernick is 4 of 10. Here's Gore. Gets stuck. Harbaugh, he's a lot like Pete Carroll before the game. You know, here he is taking snaps. Then he's going to throw a few, and then Kaepernick's warming up, and there he is playing the role of Anquan Bolden.
He honestly, I don't mean this to be insulting, he's like a big kid. I mean, he really is. He loves everything about football. His dad was a coach, and Kaepernick going to do it back to him, and they're going to do the whole thing. I met his dad the other day down on the field, and he was like a true college coach. He used to coach at Western Kentucky, and he felt like he was recruiting me all over again. I was ready to sign up with him.
Well, he and Pete Carroll might not be buddy-buddy, but they do have a lot of similarities. 2nd and 11. And Kaepernick throws deep and much too deep. Incomplete. Coverage was good on Lloyd. I mean, how many times have we seen Carroll with a top coat on up in Seattle before the game throwing the ball around?
Yeah, I don't know if anybody has the enthusiasm of that guy right there, Pete Carroll. He believes in his heart that football is about competition. Every day at practice is just competition. If you don't want to go out and every day fight for your job, compete for your job, you're going to lose it in Seattle. He doesn't care where you're drafted. He doesn't care if you're Percy Harvin. He doesn't care who you are. Every job is on the line all the time with Pete Carroll.
3rd and 11. And that's out of the reach of Stevie Johnson. A flag is down.
Illegal use of the hands to the face. Offense number 74. This penalty is declined. The result of the play, 4th down.
Penalty on Staley, 2nd on him, but this one not accepted.
Get the old Pittsburgh Steelers cross blitz going. His offensive line does a great job picking it up, but for the penalty on Staley. But down the road in this game, that's a pass Kaepernick has to hit. If the other team blitzes you and takes a chance, you have to hit those one-on-ones on the outside.
And we'll open up Tony Correnti's mic again.
Neutral zone infraction, defense number 89. Step in the neutral zone, causing an offensive player to break his stance. 5-yard penalty remains, 4th down.
4th and 6.
You don't think that Pete Carroll cares about special teams? He's got his leading wide receiver out there rushing the punt. That's him. If he thinks that Doug Baldwin is better than the next guy rushing the punt, he's putting him on the field.
And Lee gets it away without a problem, but it's a line drive kick. We have another flag. It's a nice bounce for him. For the moment, the ball's at the 9, but the flag is back down all the way up at the 40-yard line. San Francisco 40.
An eligible member of the kicking team legally downfield before the punt, number 50. Seattle has chosen the option of replaying 4th down with a 5-yard penalty.
And from high above, tonight's aerial coverage being brought to you by Geico. This ballpark about 40 some odd miles south of where Candlestick was. About 48 miles south of downtown San Francisco. Not far from San Jose. And speaking of downtown San Francisco, still as beautiful as ever. Transamerica Pyramid right there.
Make you homesick?
To a certain degree.
You had some good years here, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. Well, but I had good years here, but the Giants weren't very good in those years, let me tell you.
Great announcing, though.
Look at this. Look at Lion. Lee now to punt again. His leg all warmed up. 28-yard line. And Brian Walters this time has a chance to run it back and does for 12. So Wilson will have it at the 40. We have 9 minutes to go in the half. And the Seahawks up on top 10-0. NFL Play 60 encourages kids in neighborhoods everywhere to come out to play for 60 minutes a day. To learn more, log on to NFLRush.com/play60.
I bet you that conversation's interesting between those two young men.
So that was a big penalty. Without the penalty, the ball's at the 9. Instead, it's at the 40. And Wilson throws, and that's Turbin, who earlier caught a touchdown pass, and he gets taken down, but not until he picks up a lot of yardage, and Borland is all the way downfield to stop after a gain of 34 yards.
One of the problems with bringing these slot blitzes off the edge is that if Russell Wilson scrambles around and buys a little time, there's nobody there. When you blitz, you don't anticipate the guy's going to have the ball for 7 or 8 seconds. That's the second time now Turbin has snuck out, and there's been nobody there. They did the same thing last week with Marshawn Lynch.
Seattle's gained 165 yards, and the 49ers have been limited to 45. Big hole. Here goes Turbin again, but a flag. Just past the line of scrimmage, flag on the far side.
Flag on the field.
Seattle with a lot of penalties this year. Led the league in penalties last year.
Illegal formation, offense. Number 79, reported as an eligible receiver, was covered up by another receiver. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Well, Pete Carroll lamenting the fact that his team very much in the minus column. They've had more penalties than the opponents in each of the last 10 games, and something he was more than happy to bring to our attention last night.
Yes, he was, and he reminded us that after USC won the national championship, that stat applied to his USC team for the next 4 years. So he thinks there's a little correlation. Didn't exactly say that, but he offered us a chance to say it.
Yes, he did. If you guys want to say it, you can say it. We don't know what we're doing either. We're playing hedge fund here. 1st and 15. This is Turbin. Tackled there by Michael Wilhoit, 57. Second down.
One of the interesting things about this defense is Quentin Dial, the nose tackle, almost plays like a linebacker. He's at least a couple of yards off the ball, but it really messes up some of the blocking schemes for the Seattle Seahawks because they like for the center to hit into that nose tackle and then get up on the linebackers, but with that depth, it adds a little different dimension in there.
New running back is Christian Michael, number 33, flanking Wilson in the backfield. Wilson will dump it off to the aforementioned Michael. And he's very close to a first down before he is forced out of bounds, very close to the 16-yard line where the marker is.
I'll tell you what, Russell Wilson is quite the actor. I did not see screen at all coming on this. He steps up in the pocket and almost throws this one sideways. He considers himself to be like a point guard in basketball. Actually, his sister is going to Stanford to play point guard. So he thinks the job of the quarterback is to distribute the ball in the way that they do in basketball. And so far tonight, he's been doing a brilliant job of it.
They spotted a yard shy, 3rd and 1. Turbin stays in there. And Turbin, he's going to be tackled at the line of scrimmage. So up comes a 4th and about a yard and a half. So what does Carroll want to do here?
If you're going to run on this defense, you got to deal with that guy right there. One of the strongest guys in all of football. Takes James Carpenter, holds his ground. Marshawn Lynch back in the game now. I'm beginning to wonder, maybe they're just rotating guys in there, but that was a big down for Lynch to not be in there. You wonder if his back is giving him issues. He missed a few series last week.
4th and a short 2. At least they will line up to go for it. See if they snap it. Oh, before they do, hold on. Before they do, that's Justin Smith chasing Wilson. Lynch says, get out of here. And Correnti will tell us what the deal is.
Timeout. Seattle.
Wow, they are lucky on that one.
Yeah.
That whistle, Justin Smith didn't hear any whistle. He was chasing Russell Wilson all over the backfield. I think Justin Smith bought into the fact that that thing was not a live ball. Wilson definitely was not looking. He was turning around calling the signal. Justin Smith's going to chase him to the end of the earth. It was Pete Carroll, actually, who got the timeout.
So after that, they will bring in the field goal group. Try to make it a 13-point lead. Being dominated by Seattle, 178 yards to 45 yards for the 49ers. There's the big play in the game with Sherman's interception in the long pass to Moiaki, but they kind of settled for a field goal. This is a 36-yard attempt on a windless night. And Hauschka was able to bang it through. 5:40 left in the half. Happy Thanksgiving to you all. 13-0 Seahawks.
Thankful to spend time with my family on Thanksgiving Day. It's a time to come together and just appreciate everyone.
God's put me in a position and put a lot of people in a position where they're able to give back and bless people like as they've been blessed. And I think, this Thanksgiving and this Christmas, I'm going to have the opportunity to do that.
Quite the character, Mr. Sherman, as we all know.
He's a smart guy, though.
Very.
Smart guy.
He gets it. Down to the end zone by Hyde. Here's Sherman. You might have seen this earlier in the week.
Most teams just avoid Richard Sherman. He's had games where they don't throw any passes his way. The 49ers thought that Brandon Lloyd might be able to attack him a little bit on the outside, but when he gets in this run-out position with his eyes on the quarterback and just sort of feeling where the receiver is, that's where he gets about 90% of his interceptions, and he's going, I told you guys, don't throw that ball over there on my side. He put on a show on the field. He's also put on a show earlier this week, didn't he?
Yeah, that's what I was referring to. You didn't see that. We just showed you during the week, but it got a lot of play. Frank Gore. Here was Richard Sherman the other day in Seattle.
As you guys can see, I brought my guy Doug Baldwin with me today. You always want to share with your teammates, share your success. So I'm taking any questions. The other day, Marshawn Lynch got fined $100,000. Did you know that? $100,000. And it's like, they wouldn't even paid him $100,000 if he had talked. If he had spoken. Doug, do you think they would have paid him $100,000? No.
Of course, that went viral.
He lampooned the NFL pretty good through that whole thing. There were a lot of issues the players aren't too happy about that he got on the table in an entertaining sort of way.
Right now, the Niners are not very happy about what they're doing offensively. That's Crabtree tackled by Wagner. Gain of 1. It's 3rd and 11.
Well, Bobby Wagner right now is just taking over the game. And we saw it last week against Arizona. When he came back, Cam Chancellor came back. The difference in his speed on the field, it's just explosive. He's able to cover. He's able to get deep in the zones. He's able to run through and make plays on the quarterback. A real difference maker on this team.
4:20 to the half, 3rd and 10. Niners are averaging less than 2 yards per play. Look out. And that'll go down a fraction as well. Intended for number 84, Lloyd. Richard Sherman. Crowd is frustrated. Booing. 4th down.
Richard Sherman, watch him. He's not watching the receiver. He's watching the quarterback, and he almost had interception number 2. Again, trying to get it to the outside. Sherman is not happy with himself. He only had 1 interception coming in, has 1 tonight. Almost had 3 on the year now.
Doug Baldwin is back this time to return the kick. They have been using Brian Walters. as Lee hauls it in at the 32-yard line.
Well, I tell you, if Richard Sherman and this Seattle defense is going to play like they did last week and how they're playing so far in this one,
look out.
Look out. This is what we saw them do a season ago when their defense simply took over.
Holding, receiving team number 27. 10-yard penalty, first down.
It's Simon with the penalty. 4 minutes to go, and the Hawks with the ball again and the lead. Sunday Night Football on Thanksgiving night being brought to you by Verizon XLTE on America's largest, most reliable 4G LTE network. By Dodge Dart, don't touch it. By Bose, official sound of the NFL. And by the new Samsung Galaxy S5, the next big thing is here. A little tailgating, a beautiful day up in Northern California. Temperature got up into the 70s. Shirt sleeve weather, 60 at game time. Perfect night.
Not exactly a Buffalo tailgate there, was it?
No. From the 22-yard line, Wilson. And we'll just dump that over into the bench, flag down. Starting to get a bunch
Illegal use of the hands to the face, offense, number 77. 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
James Carpenter. You look at the QB comparison, and of course,
no comparison.
Yeah, Russell Wilson with the touchdown pass to Turbin, a big long gainer to Moyaki, and Kaepernick just misfiring, 5 of 14. Nobody can get open. 34 yards and the Sherman interception.
Now, for me, the unsettled offensive line this year has certainly been a factor with this offense, but the inability to get Vernon Davis involved. He was the one guy on this offense that you had to double team on a consistent basis, and he really has been a non-factor all year.
Right, Davis has only 21 catches in their first 11 games. They start by giving it to Lynch, and he goes through the middle up to the 21-yard line. Played his college football across the bay at Cal.
Lemuel Jean-Pierre, the center. I've been waiting all night to say that. I've been practicing a lot. Gets just enough of Quentin Dial there to allow Lynch to get going. Basically back in that prevent defense, but it has been better tonight. They allowed 7 sacks a week ago against Arizona. So far tonight, just 1, in part thanks to Russell Wilson's scrambles.
And here's Lynch on a second and short. Jean-Pierre is taking the place of the injured Unger. You're right. Lemuel Jean-Pierre should be the goalie for the Montreal Canadiens.
Take a look at this mesh point here. This is one of the hardest things to do for a quarterback and running back. Basically, Russell Wilson doesn't know at that point if he's keeping the ball or not. Now, it's always a good idea to hand that thing off to Marshawn Lynch, but you can see on the outside, Aldon Smith reacted back out to Russell Wilson, so he handed it off to Lynch.
2:45 to the half. 3rd and 7. 4-man rush, and then the pass is incomplete. It was Kearse who had a little bit of position on Craig Dahl, but could not haul it in 4th down.
Huge play right there by Craig Dahl. That one looked like it was going to be complete, and Dahl just stripped the thing out. They needed that play. They needed one more shot at something here before the half. You'd hate to go in at the half with an offense that's just been non-existent and a cold quarterback.
This is Ryan's 3rd punt. Parrish Cox back for the 49ers. Oh, he juggled it, loses it, but is able to get it away. And all things considered, pretty good to the 29-yard line. Cox. And Cox loses the ball at the 40-yard line. And Seattle has it. Ricardo Lockett came in. So it starts out as something disastrous for Seattle. The punt is gotten away. Cox is able to field it on a couple of bounces, and then after a 10-yard run back, turns it over.
It's unbelievable the problems that Seattle has had trying to punt against the 49ers. They get away with one here. How in the world he's going to get this punt off? Nobody must have been paying attention, because once that ball is dropped or he starts to run, you can rough him, you can do anything. And then Ricardo Lockett on the other side turns what should have been a horrible play for Seattle into a great one.
Yep.
What a half of football for the 49ers. Give Seattle all the credit, but this has been a disaster.
So the 49ers now have the Seahawks in their territory. The ball is to the 40. Ton of time. You got 2:23 plus 2-minute warning and the 2 timeouts. So the Niner defense has to ratchet it up again. Wilson dumps it off. Lynch. And Lynch, it is swarmed, stayed in bounds. Clock will run and might take us to the 2-minute warning. It's a gain of 7. It's second down and 3. 2 minutes. And now, yeah, you got two flags. You got scuffling, skirmishing along the sideline.
This is a big one.
Lynch was getting gang tackled. You had 5 49ers in on the play in front of the 49er bench.
Well, the scuffling started with Marshawn Lynch after the play. He got up angry, and it never really stopped, and it took about 15 seconds for somebody to throw a flag.
At the conclusion of the play, taunting offense number 24. As this action happened at the conclusion of the play, it will be second down. The down will count.
So that will take us officially to the 2-minute warning and make it second down and 18 instead of second down and 3.
This is the 2-minute warning.
There it is. It's Tony Correnti leading us to a commercial break. Thank you, Tony. So at halftime, Dan, Tony, and Rodney back east, weighing in on the first half. Also the race for the NFC West. Russell Wilson's impact in the community coming up at the half. Second and 18 after the taunting penalty, and Wilson turns the time, slippery as always, and loses the ball. Coughs it up at the 17-yard line, but is able to recover it himself. And another big break for Seattle.
Somebody's greased the football out there. There wasn't anybody around him. Russell Wilson's just going to take off of the ball, wants to keep it in his hand, and just knocks it out. And is lucky to get that thing back. But look at this. I think his other hand, he went to grab for it, and he knocked it out of his own hand. But in reality, Seattle shouldn't even have the ball. They had an illegal man downfield on that punt. And that should have been a penalty, and Seattle should have been forced to re-kick.
Meanwhile, it's third and 23 at the 48-yard line. And Lynch will try to pick up a few. Just does cross midfield. Will Hoyt makes the tackle. Let's go back to that punt. Let's see the 49ers take a timeout here.
Watch the long snapper here, Clint Gresham. And it happens all the time, so we went back and looked for it. Every time the punter, bobbles a snap, he doesn't know. He just thinks it's going to be an ordinarily timed kick, and Jim Harbaugh went crazy on him, and justifiably so. I think that was the exact call that they got that called back their good punt that forced the bad punt. So at least so far, Pete Carroll, who thinks he never catches a break from the officials, just got a big one.
Yes, he did. 49ers took a timeout, 50 seconds remaining. They have one timeout left as they try to get something going. They have 45 total yards in the first half. Snap. Ryan gets this one away with the nose of the football pointed down, and it will bound into the end zone. So 43 seconds. Kaepernick will have it at the 20-yard line. Points allowed per game last year 14.4, this year almost 20, so they were best last year, 7th so far. Opponents' passer rating best last year, right in the middle of the pack this year. Yards allowed per pass play, number 1 last year, 10th. Takeaways, they had a ton. They had 39 all season, 15 right now, so they're on a pace for about 25 or so. But so they're down in every area, and yet they're number 1 in defense in the league in terms of yardage allowed.
And they're healthy again. I mean, that was some other defense. That wasn't this defense that we've been watching tonight.
I mean, that defense was, I'm not saying the 85 Bears last year, but it was phenomenal. You don't do that 2 years in a row. The catch is made, and staying in bounds was Johnson. So the clock will run unless they want to take their final timeout here. And they're taking a ton of time.
Well, the ball was thrown inside.
Well, look at this now. I mean, of all things, the clock's going to run down. They just wasted 18 seconds, roughly. Kaepernick's pass is incomplete. There's a flag. And you got 12 seconds. Daryl Simon covering Stevie Johnson.
Well, there's no doubt where they're going. They're trying to go after Harold Simon.
Holding, defense number 27. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Harold Simon in there because Jeremy Lane, their regular nickel, is out, so they've been trying to go after him. Little grab of the helmet. That's the second one of those tonight that we've seen.
But wasting
one on each team.
Yeah, wasting all that time. They have time for about 1 play to try to gain about 35 yards. They do have the timeout and set up a Phil Dawson field goal.
Well, you try to preserve those timeouts, but in this case now they probably have 1 shot here.
Yeah, that's it. So they need about 30, 25 or 30 to get Dawson in position. And Kaepernick's going to, well, he's going to run to the 38. Now what? Do you take the timeout? Yeah. But you have 6 seconds. Timeout. Barring a defensive foul, this should be the final play of the opening half. Punt, punt, interception, punt, punt, punt.
It's not good when punts your highlight.
Yes. Stand up, sit down, fight, fight, fight. 26 plays. The 49ers have run for 58 yards. Kaepernick 6 of 15 for 42 yards. They rush forward and throw it to the outside. Stevie Johnson. Well, that's the way the first half ends.
Here come the Boo Birds.
Yeah, they will. It was a pretty grim first half for the 49ers. There's Sherman, had the big pick. 13-0 is our halftime score. Go to halftime after these messages. Our great crew, all these folks spending Thanksgiving away from home, and we love their work. 13-0 is the halftime score. Wilson is at 7 different receivers, 9 of 14, touchdown to Turbin. Hasn't done anything on the ground though. Richard Sherman, they threw him 3 times, hasn't allowed a completion and had the interception that led to the game's only touchdown. 49ers offense, 2 of those yards came at the end of the half, didn't mean anything. 2 turnovers, so they have done nothing. And Seattle is going to get the ball because they won the toss and then deferred in the first half. And so that 49er defense will have to come out here early as Phil Dawson will kick off for the 49ers. We'll see what adjustments Harbaugh made at the half. There were plenty to be made.
Yeah, I think that they're going to have to find a way to get the ball to Vernon Davis. The other thing that they worked on so much was some of these deep crossing routes and getting across the field and a few different ways to rub receivers. They haven't gotten anything. I mean, they really haven't. So much of this offense is based on their running game. They don't get that going. They don't get Vernon Davis going, and they got nothing going.
Here's Richardson, the very speedy rookie from Colorado, 2nd-round draft choice. To the 19, and we go to the field in Michelle.
Well, Al, Jim Harbaugh just told me we're going to show up this half. He said they've got to be better on first down and they've got to eliminate the negative plays. As for Pete Carroll, he said they're going to play exactly the way they have been. He wants to run the ball a little better. Said Marshawn Lynch did tighten up there in the first half, but is good to go.
All right, thank you, Michelle. He's 11 for 38 is Lynch. Been working through back issues. Turbin's been in there too, and Turbin caught a touchdown pass. So they start with Lynch in the backfield, play action to him. And then Wilson slings one to the 35. You see the flag down 6 yards farther up. Parrish Cox tackles Curse. And Tony Correnti will get the call. Give us the call.
Flag on the field.
Illegal contact, defense number 20. This penalty is declined. The result of the play is a first down.
First half all about Russell Wilson in this battle of the quarterbacks, and from these kinds of plays where he just escaped, bought time, kept his eyes down the field, got the ball out 7 seconds. The 49ers had to defend on that one. Here he goes again. Pass rush can't get there. Wide open receiver breaking down the defense.
And to the outside, look at Lynch. Hey, well, do not adjust your television set. Hey, what's a halftime without pyro these days?
Yeah, but Chris Borland might have to adjust his helmet after that one. He got the full Marshawn Lynch express on that one. Comes up, perfect position. Gonna make a big hit. Square as he can be. Everybody in the Big Ten went down when he hit him like that. Not Marshawn Lynch. He is a beast that invites contact. You saw him attack Eric Reed at the end of that.
2nd and 7. Turbin is the back. And Wilson rolling. He's going to run. So Wilson taking off and gets up to the 41-yard line. Wilson's averaging 7.7 yards per run this season, but that is the first time he has taken off here tonight.
Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of the read option stuff that we thought we might. Of course, you expect the 49ers have spent a lot of time dealing with that. They see it enough in practice. But you've got to expect here Russell Wilson is just going to move around until he can find a receiver open. That has been what's worked so far tonight, and really about the only thing.
Well, Wilson's on a pace rushing to gain more than 900 yards this season. Lynch on a pace obviously well over 1,000. And the catch is made, and the tackle made immediately as Richardson gets taken down by Wilhoit. And that will be spotted at the 46 and a first down.
Here's the point guard going to work here. Russell Wilson knows exactly where he's going with that ball. Just tried to move the linebackers a little bit out of the way. Got Michael Wilhoit to slide a little bit to his left. Just enough for the first down.
Well, you mentioned that point guard thing. He loves Tony Parker of the San Antonio Spurs. He said that's his favorite point guard in the NBA. And here's Lynch for a gain of 7. Ran into Parker, in fact, in Portland. They went to a Trailblazer game over the winter. The two guys get to meet each other, so he's dishing it off to Ginobili and Duncan.
The game they went to see, Parker scored the first 16 points after he met him. Maybe Parker wanted to say, I am the top point guard here, not you. Tell you what, that young man right there could walk into any boardroom in America and command the room, couldn't he?
He's special, no doubt. 2nd and 4 from the 47. Turbin again. And you go back and, if you follow football, you know the story. But 2 years ago, they drafted him in the 3rd round out of Wisconsin. And they signed Matt Flynn of Green Bay to a big deal. And they thought that, Flynn would be the guy. And this guy, in training camp and then during the preseason, Pete Carroll said, hey, he had it. It was some decision made by Pete to say, hey, I'm going with a 3rd-round rookie. Forget the guy I just signed a big contract with. So what happens? Wilson wins the Super Bowl in his 2nd year.
Well, we talked about Pete in the competition. He believes his eyes. If you're winning in practice, he thinks you're going to win in the game.
There's Lynch. Steps out of a tackle. First down. A lot more. Gets in behind Curse, and then he's brought out of bounds at the 15-yard line. Got away from Borland. First and goal.
Chris Borland right here. He's got Marshawn Lynch. They came with a slot blitz, so he's going to be one-on-one out here. And just Lynch dances away. It's remarkable. A guy that runs with the kind of power this guy does has some lateral steps that just make people miss. He has been sensational, and I think that back may be loosening up just a bit.
First and goal. Gain of 33 on that play. Lynch 80 ground yards tonight. Give it to Turbin. Robert Turbin, third-year back, played his college football at Utah State.
Yeah, about the same average that Marshawn Lynch have. The nice thing is when you can give Marshawn Lynch that kind of time to rest, he comes back even stronger. Watch this mesh point, though. You'll see Russell Wilson's looking right at the end, and he has that little extension where he rides the ball in there, and you really don't know who's going to get it. I said, because I ran some of this wishbone kind of stuff in college, I've had running backs carry me into the hole when I was trying to pull the ball out. It's a very difficult thing to do, and Wilson does it just great.
Second and goal. That's caught, and then trying to bull his way into the end zone. Flag is thrown as Paul Richardson. So he gets in and will get the call. It's going to go against Seattle. It's going to be offensive.
Yeah, it could end up being a pick anytime you see that crossing.
Offense, number 20. 10-yard penalty remains. Second down.
Here's the really frustrating part about this. There's no way in heck this guy was going to make the play. I can get rid of that for you. Here's the coverage guy, and you're going to get interference on the guy that was all he was going to do is turn and run on the slant anyway. One of the issues, Pete Carroll saying, come on, we really didn't pick on that one. That was just a guy making contact.
Grundy said 20, obviously meant 22. Turbin, Lynch back in now. Second down and goal from back at the 17. Opening drive of the second half. And Wilson going to get chased and taken down from behind. That's Aaron Lynch. Good-looking rookie. Picked him in the 5th round out of South Florida. Getting to see a lot of action and making the most of it.
He really is. Aaron Lynch has just proven himself. Has 4 sacks and all those coming in the last 5 games, I believe. Almost gets another one here, but look at the speed for that big guy. No question about it. He is the heir apparent for Ahmad Brooks' job. Just a matter of when that day comes. They've got a lot of rushers on the outside edge. Aldon Smith's been a little quiet here for a while, though.
Yeah, haven't talked about him. 99. Left side of the defense. Here he comes. They block him out of the play, and Wilson then gets taken down near the line of scrimmage by Justin Smith. So 4th and goal. They avoid the touchdown. And once again, Seattle's going to have to settle for 3.
Going to come around the end. They're going to try and work a little bit on Justin Britt, who gets Aldon Smith around the edge. But it's the big guy, Justin Smith, who comes up inside. And as Aldon Smith forces him up, Justin Smith gets the, I'm not sure it was a sack, kind of got right back to the line of scrimmage.
Actually, they will give him a sack. It's a loss of 1.
Good.
Hauschka now for the 36-yard attempt. And that will be his 3rd field goal of the night. 8:05 to go in the 3rd, 16-0 in favor of the Super Bowl champions. Sunday Night Football on Thanksgiving night, brought to you by Pepsi. Proud to welcome special veterans to today's game by Cadillac. And by the museum crew from Memphis Museum, Secret of the Tunes, Dexter the Monkey, reminding you to see their movie in theaters December the 19th. Our gang, our boys and girls, and love traveling around the country with them. 3 games in 8 days. What else is new? They do it.
Next stop, Kansas City, right?
Here we come.
They are great.
They got some crazy little women there. And we're going to get us none. So let's resume the game here. 3 yards in. It's Carlos Hyde. He gets taken down up at the 19-yard line. So the Niners will get the ball, trying to get something started. Down by 16. Coming up on Monday, you'll see State of Affairs, Gavin Michael. An all-new State of Affairs Monday after The Voice, right here on the National Broadcasting Company. City Hall, San Francisco, the banners of the world champion Giants, who've only done it 3 times in the last 5 years. Meanwhile, the 49ers down 16-0. Kaepernick rolling and buying time and throwing, and that's off target 2. Flag on the play, intended for Crabtree. 8 penalties.
Holding, defense, number 56. 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
And that's Cliff Averill. That'll be the 9th penalty on Seattle, 3 against San Francisco tonight.
Right here, you're going to see Averill, and as Anquan Bolden comes across, he just grabs him, spins him around, so then Kaepernick essentially just throws the ball out of bounds. Accuracy has been an issue tonight for Colin Kaepernick. He has missed some throws on the wrong side and cost him an interception, maybe a first down or 2.
Yeah, some pretty ugly numbers right there. First down from the 24. And to the ground, Gore, gain of 6, second and 4.
We'll take a look at a couple of these throws, and now this one probably would have come back with a penalty anyway, but that's a miss, and then the interception is at least 5 yards to the left of where he would have wanted that ball to go. So I don't know if it's a matter of timing or if the ball is just coming out a little different. But when he throws to the outside, at least so far, you've kind of held your breath.
From the 29 on 2nd and 5. Comes back this way, caught for a first down by Vernon Davis. And Davis is taken out of bounds at the 39. So Davis, who has all-world ability, but a guy who's having a tough year.
One of the toughest plays to defend. Here comes Davis sneaking across as the quarterback sprints away. And they need that, though. They have to find a way. Vernon Davis is one of those guys that jumpstarts this offense. They don't have a lot of speed on this offense, and he's the guy traditionally in one-on-one matchups gets over the top and gets deep. So far, and really this entire season, he has not been that kind of threat.
Here's Hyde. To the 42, Sherman comes up to make the tackle. Sherman telling us yesterday, once in a while he gets bored, so when he gets bored he decides to concentrate on the run game.
Yeah, he's going to be mad about this one, though, coming off the edge up here. He really had Hyde dead to rights. We saw him make some really good tackles last week and just kind of got faked out a little bit on that one. But he's had a very good year against the run this year.
3-to-1 ratio in rushing yards. Take to Gore. And Kaepernick will take off. Slide to a stop short of the first down. So it's going to be 3rd and about 3 when they come up to the line of scrimmage.
Well, he had Brandon Lloyd wide open on the play. Joe Staley here on the outside. The protection was rock solid. They go hard play action. He steps up. He's looking right at Brandon Lloyd. Got to hit that one. It was there. The play is a play action to hold the linebackers in. He's wide open. First down. Move the chains. That little slip may have cost him.
Bolden's been quiet tonight. 1 catch. Davis has 1. Crabtree has 2 for 7 yards. Kaepernick chased, rolling, throws. Ooh, flag thrown. Sherman was back there. Bolden now, you got a hold coming up here on Seattle. So that's going to be a first down.
Holding, defense number 25 with continuous contact. 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
I think Sherman's saying, I don't have to hold him to cover him. I've got him. Maybe just a little grab of the jersey there on the tail end of that thing, but There was no chance that ball was going to be completed anyway. That was a little bit, I'm sure there was a jersey tug. That's the one thing 100% of the time they're going to call.
Ball to 49 now. Here's Carlos Hyde. Ooh, he takes a shot, but he does get the first down.
Where has this been all night? Now they get back to the read option. Now they're getting the big guys on the left side. Mike Upati coming down here and getting a big block right there. Those two guys are their best players on this offensive line. They get the read option this side. Colin Kaepernick had 130 yards rushing, I think, in the championship game. Get him involved. Get him running the football. Let's get back to what the 49ers are.
That's how they beat in Green Bay in back-to-back playoff games. Kaepernick's legs. 4.5 to go in the quarter. Kaepernick pressured again and gets swung out by Bruce Irvin. And it's going to be a loss of 6 yards on the play and goes into the books as a sack.
Well, we're going to show you a little coverage here, see what they're dealing with. Got him covered. KJ Wright all over that one.
Oh, the crowd is seeing a replay showing a face mask. That's why you have that. There you go. That's what they just saw. Second down and 16 now from the 44-yard line.
Maybe Pete's lobbying's working.
And over the middle, Gore. And Gore slips out of one tackle and gets to the 35-yard line. So it's going to be third down and 7 or 8 at the 36.
One of the most reckless, I don't want to say reckless because he's a great player, but the guy who plays as aggressively as anybody in the NFL is that guy right there, Earl Thomas. Anytime you watch him play, he is just flying around. He is so passionate about the game. When you talk to him, they had a big fight on the field. He didn't like the guys eating sunflower seeds in practice one day, and they had a big argument out there about that. He wants intensity from everybody.
Controlled recklessness. Get a flag, offside, free play, and wouldn't matter what happened there defensively. Averill was the guy who was forced to come across the line. It's going to make it third down and 3.
5-yard penalty, repeat, third down.
Well, Pete wants to complain about all the penalties, but a lot of them, and I think I have this stat right, I think they have like 20 penalties or something that are just jumping off sides and different things like that. And so that's not the officials. Those are pretty easy to call in that situation.
And very few of them, of course, at home, where everybody else jumps offside normally. 25 yards in penalties on this drive alone. Kaepernick is going to come back the other way again. Bolden, first down, tackled to the 21-yard line. Anquan Bolden.
Bolden's going to come in motion down across the line of scrimmage and come all the way across. That is the second time they've hit the exact same play. One of the things they wanted to try and get to tonight, the Seattle Seahawks like to play a man coverage side and a zone side. If you can go from the zone side to the man coverage side, a lot of times you can be wide open. They've hit 2 now.
Hyde is the back, Miller is the fullback. Kaepernick with protection, going for Miller in the end zone, and incomplete. They sent the fullback out. Cam Chancellor, the safety, stayed with him. Second down and 10.
Misread by Kaepernick. He had coverage down the field. Chancellor all over that one. This guy right here, Carlos Hyde, comes out. Nobody around. Nobody there. There's a first down play. You take it. You probably pick up another first down. Might be inside the 10. The big phrase is take what they give you. Don't get greedy. Don't be the gunslinger. That was the message this week.
2.5 left, third quarter. 16-zip Seattle. Hyde hit hard at the 18-yard line, and upcoming is a very big third down, 3rd and 7.
Just about the time that you thought he's going to come out of there, you get a mouthful of Cam Chancellor. He may be the biggest safety on the planet. It's the tail end of this play. There's Cam Chancellor, and boy, have they missed him. He is a guy that can just deliver some of those blows that get a defense going.
3rd and 7. Pressure, and down he goes at the 22. Michael Bennett, big play. And in comes the field goal group on 4th down.
Alex Boone tapped his left cheek here on this one and tried to tell what the protection should be. He's going to tell everybody, I'm going to slide to the left here. Nobody gets it. Jonathan Martin jumps to the outside, and when that happens, you get a free runner coming right at your quarterback. Just another blown opportunity for the 49ers.
At a time when they could almost at least afford it. I mean, you're down by 16. This makes it 13. 40-yard field goal for Dawson, but you only have 16 minutes left in regulation against the Seattle defense. 16-3. Thanksgiving is football night, and so is Sunday. Sunday night football. Denver at Kansas City. Coming your way in less than 72 hours. Football night, per usual, begins things at 7 o'clock Eastern time. Denver is 8-3. KC and San Diego each 7-4. So a big game in the AFC West, and you'll see it on Sunday night right here.
Peyton's going to see some pass rushers in that game.
And 5 yards in, thinking better coming out of it is Paul Richardson. And with 66 ticks to go in the 3rd quarter, Seattle has the ball up by 13.
I'm most thankful for my family. I'm most thankful for the ability to do something I love to do every day. I'm thankful for Seattle and the wonderful community I'm in.
This is a sport that I love. I'm doing something that I love, and I'm playing with guys who, have my back. So being back out there just means everything.
Well, there's Aldon Smith, and there is Russell Okung, matched up against each other for a good part of the night. Seattle's drive now begins here with Marshawn Lynch. Looking for a 100-yard night, and he's coming very close. Broke away from Eric Reed. 15 carries now. That's 95 yards for Lynch.
Just a little inside option with this tight end coming back to the backside to take out Aldon Smith. And you see it so many times, especially with big backs, that anytime you get it to the 4th quarter and you have a lead, now you turn around and give them the ball. The defense is a little tired. Chris Borland's a step slow getting there, and Lynch is starting to heat it up.
He's 52 yards shy of 1,000 for the season, and this is their 12th game. Christian Michael is now the running back. Their number 3 back to the 40. Here's Michelle.
Well, Aldon Smith was suspended for the first 9 games of the season for a combination of violations of the NFL substance abuse and personal conduct policies. He told me the time away made him that much more grateful for the opportunity to play football. And he said doing community service during the suspension showed him the enormous effect the 49ers have on people in this area, Al, and that he would never forget that.
3rd game back for him. Michelle had a couple of sacks last week. He'll turn it around as they reverse sides of the field. We go to the 4th, 16-3 Seattle, and this Thanksgiving special. Back after this. Aerial coverage tonight brought to you by Geico, Coy Tower, bottom left of your screen, downtown San Francisco, up the road. Back we come to Santa Clara. Al Michaels with Chris Collinsworth, Michelle DeVoya. Happy Thanksgiving to you all. Heading for the end of dessert here. 2nd down and 6, start the 4th quarter. And Wilson chased down, keeps his eyes down. Field, and Curse is able to make the catch. Falls it in right in front of the Seattle bench for a 1st down.
Here's one of the differences. You just have to tell the truth. Russell Wilson has been deadly accurate when he throws the ball. This is a tremendous throw on the move. There's about a 2-yard area to get that ball in there. Perfectly thrown. A pitcher hitting the outside corner of the strike zone right there.
Russell, an old baseball player, played minor league ball, 2nd baseman. Kaepernick was a great pitcher, drafted by the Bigs. And Wilson starts to fall down and then has to just thrust forward to the 40-yard line. Pete Carroll talking about Bart Starr and the way he ran Green Bay, and just to be efficient, and that's what Wilson is. Don't do anything more than needed. He's got the great running back, good enough offensive line, decent receivers, knows how to manage a game. And the quarterbacks hate that word, but he knows how to manage a game.
Russell Wilson didn't hate that word. Point guard, he was proud of.
True. Dish it off. Lynch. Met by the pass of the 49ers. Borland, the first guy in there. And it's 3rd down and 7.
I'll tell you, I've been relatively impressed with the 49ers on defense. Vic Fangio and his group, they were worried. I mean, this Seattle offense had, 350 yards rushing against Washington? I mean, they've run for like 500 and something yards over 2 games. They've done a pretty good job against them.
They did that against the Giants, and then they gained 550 over a 2-game span. Couple of breakdowns on the 49er defense tonight, apart from that, pretty good. And then a little screen to Luke Wilson, and Wilson is able to step away from Borland. And with that forward progress, Pete Carroll is right there by the marker, and he gets the first down.
They keep doing these blitzes, and then just as the last guy goes past, the tight end Wilson just sneaks out. That is 2 or 3 times now they have gotten the ball off of blitzes to people who have just late released. Russell Wilson very patient, knew exactly what was going to happen. Good read by the tight end Wilson.
Carroll right there helping the official spot the ball at the 32. And Lynch fumbled. But again, Seattle able to recover its own fumble as Wilson did earlier. So a couple of near disasters tonight, but it turns out to be simply no game.
I don't know what Russell Wilson was doing on that one. It was like he was going to fake the bootleg and started early and then changed his mind. I mean, that's the easy handoff there. All those read option things, those are the hard ones. And he just kind of, I don't know, flinched a little on that one.
Second and 10, under 12 to play in regulation. And big sack here. Aaron Lynch, the rookie from South Florida, picked in the 5th round and playing more and more, getting that chance, of course, with Bowman gone for the year and with Willis now gone for the year. He's seen a lot of action, has Lynch.
Here he is right here, and they're going to try and block him with a wide receiver, Jermaine Kearse, and you can forget about that. That young man is a beast. He continues to rack up these sacks, and what a huge one that was, driving them out of field goal range, at least temporarily.
They're playing on the outside. There's Bowman. Of course, he plays on the inside. Lynch moving around. Big sack, 3rd and 18. And Wilson's going to take off through the middle and slide to a stop at the 28 to set up what will be about a 47-yard field goal.
It's always funny to watch these quarterbacks do the pump fake right at the line of scrimmage, and defenders just freeze. Russell Wilson knew all along what he wanted to do, which was just get it back in field goal range. He knew he wasn't going to get the first down, but he's given his team a chance to reestablish that lead. 16.
Now Hauschka, a 46-yard attempt. He's 3 for 3 tonight. This will be his longest. And it is just inside the right upright. 4 field goals, 19-3. Very similar to last week for Seattle against Arizona. Well, that's the way the players of the game will feast after the game. John Madden looking on tonight. John's going to pick the Thanksgiving players of the game.
Pretty good.
I have a feeling 1 or 2 of them may be on the defensive side of the ball. Coming out of the end zone here is Carlos Hyde to the 21-yard line. And the 49ers. Big mountain to climb with time ticking down. Sunday Night Football on Thanksgiving night brought to you by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. By BMW. We only make one thing, the ultimate driving machine, and by Microsoft Surface, the official tablet of the NFL. Our gang comedies.
How about those guys in the shot they got of Odell Beckham on Sunday night? Imagine how hard that must be to try and get that shot and focus down to the 2-3 fingers that were on the ball. That was pretty incredible.
They do it every week. 19-3 is the score. Frank Gore, the running back, they start in the gun. Kaepernick is 10 of 20 for 83 yards. Blitz coming, gets it away, and it's incomplete, intended for Bolden. Byron Maxwell covering.
It's a great job. They're going to try and pick on the outside here, Byron Maxwell. And he just runs right underneath it, and he is all over that. This passing game has been non-existent. I don't think they have 100 yards passing in the game tonight.
No, Kaepernick has 83.
They got Legion of Boom in this one.
Factor in the sacks, they have 67 net passing yards. And Kaepernick's going to run. And he's going to be a little short of the first down before KJ Wright makes the tackle. It'll be 3rd and short, 3rd and 2.
I'm honestly surprised we haven't seen more of this. It was the one thing that worked in the championship game. They just had some design runs for Colin Kaepernick, and a couple first downs, you start to feel good. And as a quarterback, sometimes it kind of feels good to run and get a hit and in the flow of the ball game a little bit. Asked Richard Sherman what worried him about this 49er offense. He said, honestly, nothing.
3rd and 1. Here's Gore, puts that shoulder down and angles his way for a first down.
That was a really good run. They needed that yard right there. And Vernon Davis did not have a great block. And Gore got about 1.5 feet off the ground and just fought his way for that first down. He's going to get right up in there. But watch how low he gets to finish this run for that final 2 yards.
8:45 remaining. Pass caught over the middle, but only a very short gain. Crabtree. Well, I tell you what, the Hawks wanted to make the 49ers one-dimensional tonight. They made them zero-dimensional.
They sure have. But, this is not the first time they did this. Arizona had one loss going in there last week, and they scored 3 points. So maybe it's more about what Seattle's doing.
So the guard Mike Upati.
I'm most thankful for my family. Me and my wife had our first child in May 1st, 2014. And it's been a real blessing to see her grow. She's healthy, happy.
Everything that has happened so far, and I'm still here with my family. I'm just grateful for being the difference maker in my generation, just to take my family to another direction.
On this Thanksgiving night, and there's a flag. Bolden looking for it. Pretty much at dueling timeouts there. Everybody was kind of messed up. 49ers were trying to get one. They had stopped the clock because of the Bolden injury when he went off the field. Then Carroll realizing he doesn't have the proper alignment. Meanwhile, Kaepernick on the other side is trying to call a timeout simultaneously.
You see Burley running out on the field. And I think Pete was just saying, everything's going right. I'm not giving up a freebie here while we're unsettled.
3rd down and 6.
There he goes again.
Oh, yep. And who came across? Michael Bennett?
Yeah. He gets a bunch of them.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense number 72. Step in neutral zone, causing an offensive lineman.
So you've got 100 yards in penalties tonight against Seattle and 20 against San Francisco. A 5-to-1 ratio.
Well, it makes a difference for this offense, though, to be 3rd and 1 instead of 3rd and 6.
On a critical drive. I mean, they have to get into the end zone in this drive. You're down by 16. You need a couple of touchdowns and a couple of 2-point conversions. And it's Frank Gore who's able to keep it alive. First down at the 46.
It's like Jim Harbaugh is taking over some of the play calling. Now they're getting a little urgency going, and maybe this will wake them up. Keep that defense on the field a little bit. Wear them down. Don't let them sub in and out so easily. Give them a little Peyton Manning here.
Drive started at 21. Hawks are giving him that short stuff. And Kaepernick is intercepted at the 31. Sherman does it again. There's a flag down. Parenti conferring. You got a Sherman pick.
A little scrum
now you got,
in the middle of the field.
You got a little scrum, right? Crabtree's in there. Here comes Carroll out there. Thanksgiving jostling.
You know, they're trying to ad-lib some stuff on the outside, and Sherman knew what Stevie Johnson was going to do before Stevie Johnson did. That's the third time he's had his hands on the ball tonight. If they give him this one, that's second interception.
Talking to Sherman last night about, interceptions.
After the interception and the conclusion of the play, there are 2 personal fouls, one against each team, and they will offset.
All right.
Personal foul, number 15 on San Francisco.
Crabtree.
Personal foul against Seattle. By rule, these penalties will offset. It'll be first down, Seattle's ball.
Sherman, a pair of picks. There may be some turkey in his future with stuffing, gravy, and cranberry sauce as well. Intercepting passes, a little luck, a little skill, but a lot of thinking. We were talking to Sherman last night about, when do you know to jump a route? When do you know it's time to take a chance? And his answers proved to be very interesting and quite timely the way things have turned out. He has 2 picks tonight. Seattle will start this drive and try to chew up some clock from the 32. And it's Lynch still seeking that 100-yard night. He said the indicators tell you he studies so hard. He was talking about 3rd and 6, what they're likely to do. It was a classic example right there.
Well, he's a smart guy. I asked him, I said, when did you know your life was going to be a little different? And he said, honestly, when I got that letter from Stanford. He said, my mom had to tell me how significant that was. My coach thought it was a mistake, thought it was one of those things, they just send those letters to everybody. He said, Coach, nobody else on the team got one. And he went with his mom from having to get a B average to play football to having to keep an A average to play football, and that intelligence shows up on the field when he plays.
Went to Stanford. I asked him where else he would have gone had that not been the case, as the pass is caught by Luke Wilson. No relation to Owen. First down. His career against the 49ers, including postseason, there it is. Returned a blocked field goal for a TD. In addition to that, he was telling us last night he probably would have gone to an SEC school had Stanford not come a-calling.
I think it all worked out okay from him. He still was a little bitter. He and Doug Baldwin both. The rumor was that Jim Harbaugh didn't exactly give them high praise at Stanford when he was their coach, when the pro scouts came calling, and those guys never forgot it. So this game's always a little personal for them.
And Borland drags him down by the heel, and that will, for Lynch, be his 18th carry. 2 more yards there. He has 99 on the night.
Yeah, I asked Pete Carroll, I said, now can you give me something that helps me understand Marshawn Lynch just a little bit better? And he said, no chance. He said he is his own guy. He goes his own way, but he is so loyal to all his teammates. All of them love him. The offensive line, they block for him like crazy because of all the effort he puts out there. You see them fighting as hard as he is to give him those extra yards.
And can he get 100? Yes, he can. That's 101. He's 2. You're talking about Pete Carroll, as we were before, his enthusiasm. Remember Brian Cushing, the Texans linebacker? Cushing's a New Jersey kid. His parents wanted him to stay back east. Cushing winds up going SCY. He was telling us that he was watching the Rose Bowl on television, and he goes, I want to play for that guy. Of course, it's Carroll and SC. He says, I want to play for that guy. And that's how he winds up at USC.
The enthusiasm bubbles over. It really does. He is sprinting around that practice like he's a participant.
Go.
3rd and 6 from the 47. And the blitz is coming. Wilson coming out of it. Wilson getting the first down. And he is there as he picks up the first down and chews up more clock.
Well, really, if you want to say what's the difference in the game, it's what Russell Wilson has done in these situations. There's nobody open, just like Kaepernick hasn't had anybody open. He scrambles, looks to throw, which forces the defense to stay back. In this case, he continues to run and picks up the first down. Very savvy guy.
And there it is tonight. Very effective night for Wilson. And a very ineffective night for number 7. With those 2 picks.
I think it's this defense, though, Al. I really do. I mean, they are just, they look like last year.
Yeah, they're gelling again. Wilson. By the way, folks, we had enough football today, but it's time for Pucks tomorrow night. It's hockey. It's Broadway and Broad Street. It's the Rangers and the Flyers. Friday. We don't need Black Friday shopping at 1 o'clock Eastern. It's Rangers in Philadelphia. You'll be watching, right?
Absolutely.
Mr. Hockey, Chris Collinsworth, ladies and gentlemen.
We had some fun at the Olympics. We went to see every Czechoslovakia, Yugoslavia. Didn't matter. We would just go.
Slovenia's playing. We're there. Yeah. Now, Pete Carroll trying to do something. The Patriots were the last team to go back-to-back. Last night, Super Bowl champions. Take a look at that. 4 teams didn't even get to the playoffs. 4 lost their first game, and the Patriots 9 years ago got through the next round, but they lost there too. And Pete Carroll right now, he watched his team win 19-3 last week against Arizona. This one could wind up 19-3. And that D is number 1 in the league coming in. Lynch. Well, Carroll was saying also yesterday that they've been just on the edge. Just on the edge. They're going over the edge pretty soon. 10 out. And you can order your holiday gifts from the NFL Shop.com. Right now, save 20% in the official store of the National Football League. Well, let's see. You got 3 balls there. Big old turkey. Not a turducken. We're back to a traditional turkey here.
That's a traditional turkey?
Yeah, sort of.
1, 2, 3, 4.
They've got a few legs in there. 2nd down and 7. 49ers have only 1 timeout left, and they give the ball to Christian Michael to the 21, and Marshawn Lynch is over 100 yards tonight. He took a shot the last time he had the ball.
Tony Jared Eddy got him right in the side of the helmet. Everything's been so good tonight. Hate to think about that one. He takes some shots, but he dishes out just as many. This team to me looks like they are positioning for a run.
Don't they? I think the next game, though, that's pretty fascinating game a week from Sunday. They go to Philadelphia. Philly rolling all over Dallas today. And then they go back home and they face San Francisco again at the Link. Go to Arizona, which is scheduled as a Sunday night game for us on December the 21st, and then end the season against St. Louis at home. Niners, meanwhile, go to Oakland next weekend, so it's a virtual home game here, then at Seattle. And they'll wrap up the season here at Levi's against San Diego and Arizona.
Now, this is a team not afraid to make the tough decision, though, right? Percy Harvin, big trade. Everybody was on board with that. And then it didn't go well. And he said, we just had to make a change. And everybody from ownership on down, Paul Allen said, if it's not right, if we made a mistake, so be it. They made the decision, moved on, and they're doing fine.
And Wilson running all over the place and then throwing, and throws that one out of bounds. Chased by Dan Scuda. Remaining schedules there. So Arizona 9-2. At Atlanta this week. Then Kansas City goes to Arizona. Then they go to St. Louis. Interesting 5 games for them. Seattle in Glendale on a Sunday night, and then at San Francisco. You look at Seattle right there, the 4 they have left, and then San Fran. And as we said at the beginning of the show, 8-4, you're in pretty good shape heading down the stretch for the playoffs. 7-5, you are living on the edge, and that's where San Fran pretty much figures to be living right now. Kristen Michael is tackling at the line of scrimmage.
You know, Bruce Arians and his offense a week ago couldn't get it going. Greg Roman and his offense. Greg Roman's won 74% of the games. One of the top coordinators in all of football. We know what Bruce Arians has done. And both those great coordinators, really nothing to show for it. Both of them got 3 points.
Well, you look at the 49ers again, living on that edge. In New Orleans, crazy game. They had a 4th and long. They converted. Got the ball on a turnover in overtime, and then Dawson kicked one of the craziest looking field goals you ever see. 5 Manning interceptions against the Giants with Eli. They only won by 6. And Russell just runs around, and
somebody's yelling, "Get down!"
Yeah. No sense fooling around here. Just take it to the 2-minute warning, which he will do. Last week against Washington, they had to pull that one at the end with a late rally. So tonight, as San Francisco takes its final timeout, 4th and 2.
Story of 2 corners right there. Can't do a whole lot better than that. 2 starting cornerbacks. They had 9 balls thrown their direction. Completed 1 for 7 yards and 2 interceptions. That's as close to a perfect game as you can get. Look at Richard Sherman. We've been talking about him, but eyes on the quarterback. That is what he does so well. He just knows where the receiver is, and usually he gets the first look at the quarterback throwing the ball. Here, there's no way he could have figured out this ball was going to be coming. Gets those eyes back around. Second easy interception. Some player. He really is, and he is. I wish everybody could watch these guys practice. When they're on the practice field, they're chirping at each other. They're competitive. If anybody completes a pass, they're all mad. Earl Thomas, all of them, they get upset. They're just so competitive every single day in practice, and it just carries over. And they're young. This is a young football team. They're not going anywhere. It was interesting talking to Russell Wilson about that play in the championship game too, wasn't it? 4th down, he called it the biggest play in Seahawks history, led to their going to the Super Bowl, got the line of scrimmage. He said, guys, if they jump off sides, go deep. He got them to jump off sides. It was Jermaine Kearse that took off of the end zone on 4th down, hit him for that touchdown, right onto their first championship.
Onto the Meadowlands, and of course they routed Denver. 4th and 2. And that will be caught out along the sideline. Wilson is there.
No, they said
no, he didn't catch it. He's juggling it at the 2-minute warning. So 49ers will take over with 1:54, which is the official 2-minute warning. We got a challenge flag, which comes on the front side of the 2-minute warning. So you can't challenge within 2 minutes, but if the play starts on the outside of 2 minutes, you can.
Seattle is challenging the ruling on the field of an incomplete pass.
He may have gotten it, but his feet were out of bounds.
Exactly.
So Pete with a challenge here, but
if he had caught it cleanly there, it would have been allowed, but when he bobbled it, feet out of bounds, incomplete.
Cue the band. 2-minute warning.
After reviewing the play, it is an incomplete pass. Seattle will be charged their 3rd and final timeout of regulation. ball on downs goes to San Francisco.
Yeah, pretty clear as he's juggling. There's his feet out of bounds. Chris made a great point during commercial. I said, why didn't they kick a field goal? It's a 2-possession game, not that San Fran would score. And my man, Mr. Collinsworth, said, well, the only way San Francisco might have been able to score is a blocked field goal.
That's the way it feels. As long as Richard Sherman and company are out there, they're not getting too close to that end zone.
I didn't give you away there, did I?
No, that's all right.
You're provocative.
Looking at the bus now, driving over me, but no, it's good.
You tell it like it is.
Mostly during commercial breaks.
Of course. It's the fun part. From the 13-yard line, Kaepernick. And up to the 20, Brandon Lloyd to make the catch. Kaepernick tonight, after that, 97 passing yards, 17 rushing yards. 49ers averaging 3.1 yards per play. Not per pass, per play. Period. Hyde makes the catch. Of course, the Seahawks have given everything they want underneath. 49ers have no timeouts. Well, John Madden picking the Thanksgiving players of the game. Turkey legs, game balls to be awarded, and then we'll take a little look at Denver and Kansas City coming away on Sunday Night Football. And Kaepernick goes down to the 22-yard line, and not that Seattle needed to put an exclamation point on this thing, but it's been that night. That kind of night for the defense, that kind of night for the 49er offense. Teams have 10 days off, and San Fran goes across the bay to Oakland a week from Sunday, and Seattle goes to Philadelphia.
You know what's going to be interesting? In this post-game show, they're going to set up a table out there with Michelle Tafoya, and they're going to eat turkey legs right in the middle of that S and F in the middle of the field.
Yep.
And that's one of those things, Terrell Owens, and something about territory and the symbol, and right in here, they're probably going to set up that table right about there as John Madden decides who's going to be out there sitting at that table, and I'm going to guess it's not going to sit very comfortably.
Not since Terrell Owens did his thing on the Dallas Star. And 2 seconds left as Hyde makes the catch. You think they'll clean up after the repast here?
We'll find out. I tell you, I cannot do this game without thinking about John Madden and all the games that he called on Thanksgiving. He was LOL before there was such a thing. You would just find yourself on Thanksgiving watching the television, couldn't wait for the game to get over so you could hear what John was going to do with those turkey legs.
Defense number 27, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And just another penalty against Seattle. So Carroll can gripe about that. Had a chance to talk to the great Coach Madden earlier today. We wish John and his family a very happy Thanksgiving, happy holiday.
Dan Fouts came by.
Yeah, Fauci came by, my old partner.
You got a lot of exes.
Well, wait a minute. I only have Linda Michaels, though. That's the only.
She's not an ex.
No, not at all.
She's a current.
That's why I said Kansas City will get us none. I didn't mean Holly or,
you dug that own hole. Don't throw me in that one.
No. I just want Holly and Linda to know everybody gets a very happy Thanksgiving wish. And made me sound like Bradshaw. Carlos Hyde gets taken down. Happy holidays to everybody. More to come. Let's see where that turkey gets eaten in the middle of the field.
No alimony to Madden, though.
19-3 is the final score. So Seattle wins back-to-back games by the same score. 19-3 against Arizona, 19-3 against San Francisco. And it should be a pretty interesting post-game show coming up. Volkswagen post-game report on the other side of this break.